Hello, hello, hello! How are you doing? What a day. Well, Sterak, thank you for sending people over. Good morning, good time of the day. Dobry den, guten Tag, hallo. I need to learn that in more languages. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here. It's gray outside, so I'm still kind of fighting with my cameras, to be honest. Because the whole time previously, the last couple of weeks, it was so sunny that from the back there was so much light coming, and now I have to adjust stuff. Why easy when it can be complicated, right? Hello, Cubie. Yeah, the dog is also here because he knows that today I'm cooking with meat. And he wants that. You should see his ears. It's like, ahoy, hello, food? Not for you, mostly for us. How are you doing, you lovely, lovely people? Ferrari Man, Troni, Stelichko, hello. Oranžový patnik? Oranžový is orange. What is patnik? Nihasa, hello. So yeah, the lighting situation made my life a bit more complicated. Don Vito, good morning. But I think I kind of managed. I really should look more into. I was thinking about, you know how there's those rollo-like things like plissé, which is like a folded thick fabric, and I was thinking if it would be possible to fix that to one side of the window so I could pull it over whenever I'm streaming. Might have to look more into that. Although now, with how the weather is looking out there, wet, grey, gloomy, cold almost. Autumn is coming. Screw winter. Autumn is coming and it makes me so happy. Meatballs bacon. That's your blood group. Okay. Patnik is some weird concrete thing by the road. Okay. So you're you're named after a thing that warns people? Okay. Cool, thank you for the explanation. I always love to learn new stuff. And today we're going to make something that is actually not new to me. It's probably one of the more traditional things I cook, or I've cooked so far. Because if you look back throughout the last couple of weeks, we've gone pretty much, we've been all over the world. Like we've done bulgur salad, we've done fries, we've done, what else was there? Pizza rings. Chicken tenders, a lot of fun stuff. So if you're up for that and you're not yet following, change that. It's free. I mean, yeah. It's always a bit confusing to me how on some platforms subscribing is free, like on YouTube, and then on other platforms following is free. It's a bit convoluted, isn't it? I mean, they could have just done the same thing on YouTube and say you follow people instead of subscribing, and then they wouldn't have had to make up this whole channel membership whatever kind of stuff. But who am I to argue with that, right? I mean, slowly all platforms are becoming the same, it feels like, anyway. With YouTube Shorts being almost TikToks, and with Instagram trying to focus more on videos, is madness. Everything is the same. Everything is trying to be the same. YouTube has stream options, getting more and more of them. It would be lovely if everyone could just work together, but obviously that doesn't work. Yaris, good time of the day to you as well. Last time you followed someone, you were called stalker. Well, Zelichko, IRL, that might be true. Good, so today was interesting. The morning, I don't know if you can see my ingredients here, yeah? This cream I had to defend from my street dog, from the street doggo, because he's very, I'm going to say vertical. So if there's something on the kitchen, he knows he's not allowed to go there. And if you say something, he doesn't go there. But that dog is not afraid of anything. He grew up on the street, and I haven't yet found a way to get him uninterested in stuff happening on the kitchen counter. We tried loud noises, you know, those, there's like those, looks a bit like a key ring, but there's just metal discs on it, and if you throw it, it makes a loud noise to, like, shock the dog. I guess the only way forward would be to go, like, with an actual shock collar or something, which I would never do, because, but yeah. I've had a couple dogs in my life, and all of them ultimately learned what to do and what not to do. But QB is a freaking little monster at times. Oh. He's good with everything else, but he's just too damn curious. One day, it's going to bite him in his very bony butt. Sometimes it's... yeah, drinking is difficult. Sometimes it really feels like he would prefer to be a human, because he spends so much time on two legs, trying to figure stuff out, see stuff that he can't see normally. You need a dog cam. Well, it would be a bit problematic because that dog is rarely standing still when I'm cooking. It's like moving from there to here. But yeah, maybe a camera pointing downwards so you can see him with his big, big, big dog eyes looking at me, asking to be fed. Always, always, and always. Ay. But enough about the dog. We're not cooking dog today. We'll never cook dog. Let's be real. We are cooking meatballs. GoPro on dog. That, on the other hand, could be interesting, but then you wouldn't see him. You would just see, like, the ground most of the time. Or him looking up to me, which would probably put me at a very, very, very unflattering angle. Let's be real. Not sure if I want that. A fellow streamer has, a friend of mine has a dog cam, because the dog is actually sleeping behind her most of the time. And she is very into tech, like that's what her channel is all about. And she made a feeding mechanism for her dog, so people can use channel points to start the feeding machine, the treat machine, and it puts out like 2 or 3, and then the dog goes and gets it. That's kind of cool. I would be tempted to do something like that, but I just know that my dog would probably roll afterwards because he would still expect normal food. Go to the cheese! You want to be combined with my doggo? Not in terms of food. I know, it's this old debate, where does it cross between animal that can be eaten and animal that is part of the family. But dog is family, dog is not food. You need to make it for donates. Well, there's September coming up, right? September. But no, I don't think so. I don't want you to have to pay for my dog's food. I guess, I mean, sometimes you are doing it inadvertently by supporting me and I'm buying his food, so... Why is that goulash called Turkish? Because that dog was called Sultan. Don Vito! Ah! No, we're only talking about dog food, not dog is food. Recently I made our doggo very, very happy because he sometimes loves like proper food, like what we are eating. So instead of bringing him like a can of cat or dog food, I brought him some baby food, which was basically just vegetables and meat that is good for him anyway. And he was so happy. It was the most adorable little thing, how he was like, best day ever! No, dog is not food. Dog food is food for dogs. Dog is not food. I think I'm going in circles here. Shall we start cutting? Shall we start cooking? Actually, I don't need my cutting board for the very first step, I just realized. It's the old Czech from 70, 80 years. Seriously, don't be so. Sis. Wolfman, good day to you. Oh, it's so nice to be here. It's so nice. With having the big break due to Gamescom, it's so awesome to be here again and to have like a normal life, quote unquote. Because while I absolutely love the madness, if you want to see a bit more about what was going on, there is a vlogish kind of thing on my YouTube channel. But it was good that it was over. It was really good that it was over at some point. No one from you. Hello. Hello, panda waving person. I love my food pandas. If you have been on Discord, there's a new one that will soon enter the fray, also on Twitch. I'm still thinking if I should change something before I put it here. But I guess, I could change it afterwards as well. Okay, we're going to start. Our dish today is meatballs, bacon applesauce, and mashed potatoes. It's one of the most hearty dishes I can come up with. And if you look outside, you probably can't see it. But it's really, 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 really grey, rainy, wet, autumny. And autumn is for me the prime time, even more so than winter almost, for like those really hearty dishes. Like the ones where one spoon takes you back to childhood when your grandma cooked for you or something like that. So like those really wholesome comfort foods that are best eaten like piping hot straight out of the pan. That's what we're making today. Funnily enough, that's also my last cooking video, which was shepherd's pie. That's the same category of food for me. Maybe a bit fresher because there's more veggies. Today we're going like very, 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 very basic. Like the free stretch sub you get with Amazon Prime. Exactly. Good. We're going to start actually not with the cutting board. I'm going to organize my brain because we're going to start with the actual meatballs. These are... I've recently figured out that I actually have a couple meatball recipes, or meatball, like ball recipes on my YouTube channel. But today's are not just meat, they're what in Germany would call Frikadelle. So in general, that is not just meat, but also egg and either Brötchen, so like a bread roll that is put into milk or water, and then later you press out the liquid and put it into the meat, because that adds some airiness, some lightness, and makes the whole thing a bit more fluffy and less dense. Also has the added benefit that you get more meatballs out of the same amount of meat. And to be honest, they just taste better that way. They're a bit... Yeah, if you bite at them, it's not like you're taking a bite out of a piece of like dense ground meat. Instead, it's more like fluff. Not quite a cloud, I would say, but a bit lighter. So we're going to start by getting down one of my bowls, which are always all the way up there, and I'm barely reaching it because I'm not that tall, but we'll make it work. And no one, I'm glad it sounds tasty. That's the plan. Also, my stupid ground pepper should run out today, so I will finally be able to use my actual peppercorns again. You hear static in the back? Well, too bad. Maybe I can change that a bit. Maybe I can move the microphone so it's only targeted towards me and you don't have to hear my husband in the back. So, egg. What I'm going to do here is I am thinking if I should use one or two actually. It's always the thing when I'm making these streams, I have way more time to think than when I'm making my videos. So sometimes in the middle of it, it's like, shall I really do my recipe that way or shall I change it? And he's actually not recording. He's spending time with Hedden, I think, on his birthday stream. Where is it? There it is. So, as I said, you can normally use bread rolls, for example, especially stale old ones. However, what I like to use, because can you see it? Because I usually have it at home, is just a couple teaspoons of this, which is breadcrumbs, but the fine variety, not the panko. There it is. Not the panko that we use to bread our chicken tenders. Instead, it's really fine, and by putting it into liquid, like egg, and I'm going to probably add a splash of milk, it's going to soften up a bit, and then it has pretty much the same effect as the bread roll that I mentioned. What up, flocks? Good day! How are you? Good. Milk. Where is the milk? There is the milk. Or maybe... Haha! I have a very small amount of cream left, so I'm going to mix that with some water, and it's very similar to milk. Yeah, I think I'll do it this way and not 2 eggs. Beep-deep. Beep-deep. Seriously, recently all our forks have disappeared. We had a drawer full of forks and now we are down to like 3. I don't know where the other ones are. So just imagine this is cream, this is milk and egg, and not cream with water, which is kind of similar, but a bit the ghetto way to do it, I guess. And now we're going to add some breadcrumbs. I don't want to make too dense a mixture, so I'm going to do this one bit at a time. These are supposed to like really puff up from the liquid. How do you say that? Like they're supposed to soak up the liquid so they get softer, which is like the opposite of what you normally want with breadcrumbs, right? Like normally you want breadcrumbs to be crunchy on the outside of some schnitzel or something like it. So, I think this should be good. Sometimes I think about people that maybe can only use one hand, that only have one hand, or like my mom who recently broke her arm and can only use one hand. Cooking is really difficult with that. Like you couldn't, like if I do this and only have one hand, that's a bit difficult if I can't hold on to it. Or if I imagine chopping vegetables. Maybe I should add that as like a difficulty setting to these streams. Maybe that's already planned, who knows, huh? So this is roughly a bit more. I want like a thick paste-ish thing. It's going to soak up some more, so it's going to get thicker. It's always a bit tricky to find the right amount, because otherwise you might end up with way too thick in the end, but I think this is good now. And if not, it will not hurt any part of the recipe to add some later. So I'll just let this sit now at the side. And yeah, it's going to soak up, it's going to get softer. The little pieces of bread in there, you can see currently it's still quite grainy. Later on, to use a beautiful, beautiful word, it's going to get a bit like a slime? Slug? Sluggish, slimy. So yeah, you can already see if I go through with the fork, it almost stays apart for a moment, and that's what we want. This is going to the side. Breadcrumbs go back in the cupboard. I'm trying to get better at cleaning up after myself, because I'm not the best at that at all. And now we need the cutting board, and now we're going to get cutting. And I think we're going to start very boringly with a shit ton of potatoes. Because, as I said, we're going to have mashed potatoes today. Don't have the nice big ones this time. So it will take a bit more time to peel them. But it's okay. We have time, right? It's not like we are in any kind of rush. I do need a pot though. So I can put them in right away and I don't have to move stuff around too much. By the way, I was talking about using only one hand. This would also be pretty much impossible. But did you see the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con adapter that you can play with only one hand? It looks so fascinating. I want to try it just out of curiosity. I have the pleasure of having two working hands, but I always love it when more options like this become mainstream. Love the jungle vibes your kitchen gives. Well, thank you, Thronis. I mean, if I'm spending so much time in here, I always thought, let's make it as nice as possible. And I love to have some herbs in my background anyway. And the rest is easy, cleanable, fake stuff. I'm part of a family of gardeners, but I don't have a green thumb. I'm the only one that can't keep plants alive properly, apart from herbs. Maybe. Zyrex, good day, how are you? But seriously, isn't it cool? Like, I mean, this would not work. How would this even... Yeah, not even going to try. But I love those adaptive, like those controllers and settings in games that allow people that might have some sort of restriction to play games. Be it like a colorblind mode, be it a controller with like really big buttons, or be it one that you can play with only one hand. Or we, for example, experimented with eye tracking when I was still studying game design, game art and animation. And we experimented with how it could be used in a normal game. We, for example, built, God, how's the game called? The brick break game, where there's like a paddle going at the bottom and there is a lot of bricks on top and you had to break them and you get points for that. We made a little game where you were able to do that by moving your eyes left and right to move the paddle. And it was a lot of fun, but it also put into perspective how exhausting and how strenuous that is on your eyes. Quite crazy. Still fun. In general, I'm a big fan how games and how gaming technology and game design is more and more used in education, in therapy, in all those real life situations. I think it also puts into perspective how much good gaming can do. How much happiness it can bring to people that have some sort of problem. For example, I think the whole eye tracking thing was for a charity for MS patients, for young MS patients, so multiple sclerosis. Is that the English name? And it was so cool to see that these oftentimes kids or young adults, or adults, I don't care, how happy they were to be able to do something that is so normal for the able rest of us. And I love that we're going into the direction. So, Joy-Con you can use with one hand. Dope. So dope. You must find your chef suit for the weekend meeting of another Twitch channel. Your role will be food maker for 20 people, Don Vito. Okay, what's the food? What you're making? Cooking for a lot of people is always a challenge. Potato peels, gone. Reminds me of a video I saw yesterday. There was a man with only one hand who beat Sekiro at the game. I cannot win with two hands. True, those people are oftentimes so insanely talented. I mean, there's this lady who streams Elden Ring, finishing it with like weird ways, and like for example with a graphic tablet, and it's so mesmerizing to watch. But yeah, the more accessibility options, the better. You once played Gran Turismo with your feet as a drunk there. Does this count as discipline? Yeah. I mean, if it worked, if you were able to like actually do something, why not, right? So potatoes coming back. Vroop, 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 vroop. There was also these. I mean, there's a difference obviously between people that play games for fun in weird different ways. I mean, wasn't there this guy that played the Souls games with the bongo drums from Donkey Kong and stuff like that? So that is obviously like a voluntary challenge, and not an actual challenge people have to face every day of their life. But still, it's always cool to prove that it's possible. And to prove also, I mean, to developers that it doesn't always have to be the most traditional setup. So maybe it opens some eyes to what is possible for the future. Would love to get my hands on one of those Switch controllers and try it out. I'm a sucker for unique development of ideas, or unique ideas like that in general. There was once this foot pedal. I was at a presentation for it. Don't remember though. Need to look back into that. Don't know what happened with that one. Just disappeared. Yeah, we have a new emote here. I was thinking about waiting a bit more, but honestly, why not? So I activated it. This is my little pog choi. Don't know how often we need a pog emote, but now we have one. Who knows? Maybe for the gaming streams on Saturdays. Or maybe when I do like something really cool while cooking on accident. Not sure how often that happens. But yeah, this is my little bok choy / pog choy friend. Hope you like him. Speaking of liking, who has watched the Resident Evil show on Netflix? I haven't, I must admit. But it can't be that good. Looking at the fact that it was already cancelled again. Like that there will be no second season. Must be so sad for the people working so hard on it to just see it not be loved. I mean, that's how gaming series or movie adaptations sadly most of the time go. And they still keep trying. Last of Us coming, Cyberpunk 2077 anime is coming now in September. There is supposedly a Horizon Zero Dawn show in the works by the people that made Umbrella Academy. Was there anything else coming up? I mean, I'm excited for Arcane Season 2. That is probably, in my opinion, the best video game adaptation to any kind of TV or movie situation. And by the way, if you are into background information, there is still going, I think a couple more episodes are still at least one more. There is a Behind Arcane documentary going on YouTube, where it's going on about the art style and how difficult it was to like pitch this idea of like this very, very, very expensive big project, and how doubtful that people were working on it and how long it took. And also the studio that makes like this show, Arcane, and also most of Riot's music videos by now, Fortiche, they are amazing. Like having a game art background, seeing them create these models and then basically like bringing them to life in a cartoon painterly way by painstakingly painting every single thing. And then they don't have light. they don't have light sources in the actual, like in the 3D part of things. They're painting those in. And if you've seen Arcane, there are some lighting situations that just, if you know that they are painted, it's just mind-blowing. Also, the effects, most of them are painted in afterwards. Like be it the smoke from a cigar slowly curling up, or the explosions in the fight that Vi and Jace are in. Oh, sorry, those things get me so excited, and I can't wait for season 2. I mean, the story you might call cliche or whatever, or you might not love the art style, but it's just mesmerizing to me to see the work going on behind the scenes, and these people, how much love and heart goes into it, how much passion. Yeah, I could talk about that for a long time, but we actually need to continue cooking. So I'm going to add some water to these, just to cover them, because that's how I'm going to cook them later anyway. But also because potatoes oxidize quite fast. And you don't want a gray mashed potato. You don't want gray mashed potatoes. Not really, right? So this is roughly the amount of water you need. You don't need to have more, you just need to cover the potatoes, and that's pretty much all. So I'm setting this aside for now. Don't need to cook it yet, giving you an update on this situation. See, now it's really, as I said, kind of slimy. This is also, by the way, this combination of things, so egg and the breadcrumbs, some salt, some pepper, nutmeg, maybe garlic powder. If you make it thicker and then you have a broth bubbling over there, you can take 2 spoons and you make like little blobs of this mixture and put them in the hot soup, and they puff up and cook through, and it's a childhood memory. I love them as well. Did you check out the Atlas soundtrack? No, Zarix, I didn't. Had no second, but maybe write that again on Discord so I don't forget, because usually after these streams my brain is so cooked, pun intended, after having my head over cooking pans and pots for so long that I forget. But please remind me. I would love to take a look. Good. Next step is onion. Look, there's a little face. Can you see that? Wait a moment. Yeah, now my camera is good again. As I said, the lighting changed for some reason, and I'm also very kind of red looking today. I'm not actually that warm. I even considered like leaving my hair down and going full lion mode today, because my hair is about this. But then I decided against it. So, onion, because let's be real, most good dishes have onion in it. It took me a long time to really enjoy onion. I don't know why. Maybe I just inherited it from my father, who is the absolute... To him, onions are evil. He doesn't like it, and the Dogu shouldn't eat onions either. Right, QB? Because onions are not good for dogs. He would love to steal everything I'm cooking with. Even if he doesn't like it, ultimately, he would still love to take it and check it out, and then just leave it on the floor if he doesn't want it. We have some awesome memories from the beginning time where we got him. Trust me. He ate, chewed, bit everything. He's come a long way since then. So, dicing an onion quite finely, but it doesn't have to be too thin. This is later going to go into the sauce, and it's going to cook down quite a bit, so... We got more knives, by the way. I have this awesome knife set from my brother-in-law, and now I got another couple awesome knives from my aunt. and uncle. And I slowly have a lot of knives, so I guess I should slowly move my this is the 100% thing I'll be happy about to something else. You hate raw onions except only red ones. Red onions are good. I mean, red onions do taste different, Wolfman, so I completely understand that. But honestly, I don't like raw onions either. It's this weird situation in my family that my little sister loves onions. My father hates onions. It took me a while to like get onions. And my brother and mom, they are kind of just indifferent. They're good with everything. They're also the ones that are least complicated to cook for. But yeah, red onions in general are oftentimes milder, especially in the raw state. While white onions or yellow onions, they sweeten up a bit when you cook them. Something new learned every day, right? Oh, but this one is bitey, my eyes. Should slowly sharpen my knife again. I've been using this one for so long now, or for so much, that it's slowly starting to dull a bit. And while I disagree with the notion that a sharp knife is a safer knife, because I tend to cut myself only when my knife is at its sharpest, it's still easier to use if it's nice and sharp. Dum, dum. Oh, my eyes. Very... I should start like using safety goggles. I think that would make for a fun view for you. Don't you think? Speaking of fun view, who here played Spider-Man? I hope a lot of you, because it's an amazing game. I know that it's remastered for PC. It's even more widely accessible. But you know what else came with all the fun PC players? The mods. And I don't mean mods like a Ferrari man. I meant modifications. And I've recently seen some people that replaced Spider-Man with Saul Goodman, with Kermit, with Elsa. I mean, there's probably 1,000 more versions, but those are the ones I've seen. And I kind of love it. It's kind of cool. Dim, dim, dim. This goes in here. Lots of little onion dice. And then I'll need to wash my hands, because if I touch my eyes with this stuff, I'll be very unhappy. I'll be very, very, very unhappy. What I am very happy about is that there's slowly more and more information about the upcoming Assassin's Creed game. It's supposed to be a bit more like the old school Assassin's Creed. So not like Odyssey, Origins, and Valhalla, but the previous ones. So that gets me excited. It's supposedly set in Baghdad, and it's supposedly called Mirage. I'm up for it. I like that I mean, of course, Assassin's Creed recently got simply into the games as a service kind of situation, and they brought out so much additional content for Valhalla, but I still kind of like that they take longer time frames between the games. So I'm excited for where we're going next. Onion dice, beautiful, goes to the side, washing hands because my eyes. Freaking hell, that's evil. Maybe I should move my I want this. If you want to give me a gift, I want this. Maybe I should move it to I would please like to have a nice cutting board. There's a weird thing here. So, cutting board. Let's go this around. I would like to have like a really thick cutting board with like different pieces of wood, like meshed together. It's like, oh, beautiful. I'm a sucker for beautiful things. Of course, it's good if it's useful and like working as intended, but if it's also pretty, it's a nice effect. I don't know if you can get them in Germany, but there's a variety of onions in the US that are naturally much sweeter than most other varieties. They're called Vidalia onions. They're grown in a small town about an hour from where I used to live. I have never heard of that, but I will look into that, Wolfman. Whew. I mean, there's new types of plants, bread created, etc. every day. So it's very difficult to keep up. But I know, I mean, it makes sense. You can make chilies that are less strong in flavor. You can make chilies that are very, very intense in flavor. So obviously it makes sense that you could do the same with onions, right? Everyone likes pretty things, but the pretty things themselves change from person to person. Well, Zarix, that is almost philosophical, but true, of course. What I like might not be what somebody else considers pretty. So again, I don't like the big stalks in my food. They are better if you make like a pesto or something like it. So I'm going to go do the hard work and take out these pieces. I should slowly start making, like starting a parsley pot again. I've been using so much recently. Usually what I have running basically in terms of herb pots is basil, parsley, chives, and the rest is a bit changing. Sometimes rosemary, sometimes different types of thyme. I, for example, I love lemon thyme. It's so good. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. True, indeed, indeed. Ferryman, have a nice lunch, my friend. So, almost done, and then I'm going to chop. Oh, maybe I need to blow. Oh, the wrong way around. This goes here, and the stalks go over there. Maybe I need to blow my nose from all of this onion smell, onion oils that have permeated the kitchen. Ay. Stupid itchiness. Oh. Now my nose is even redder. God damn it. I need to do something with the lighting. Today I'm looking a bit, I don't know, either as if I have a cold, which I don't. Or I don't know, sometimes, isn't that how you portray people that are slightly drunk? I promise I'm not drinking and streaming. I mean, I'm drinking very little to begin with, so why would I do that right before stream? All those rosy cheeks, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, but this smells so good. See, this is proof that my nose is actually not, like that I don't have a cold, because I can smell everything very, very, very well. Evil onions. They taste so good. It's only going to get worse when you put those onions in a pan. They contract and push the vapors out. True, but for some reason that I'm not so sensitive to. Even the worst onions are usually bearable in this regard. Who knows why? Maybe I should ask some biologists I have in my bubble for an explanation. I still kind of, if Starak, my dearest husband, hears this, he's going to roll his eyes. Because I have this pet peeve of, why does it feel good when you scratch yourself? When something is itchy and you scratch yourself? Like if you have a mosquito bite, why does it feel good to scratch it? What's the biological, historical, chemical reason for it? To me, it makes no sense. Like usually your body reacts in a way to teach you like what is good. But if you scratch like a mosquito bite, then it might get infected and might be way more problematic. So I'm wondering if it's like a reaction to, for example, that you are supposed to scratch or get rid of something that itches you because it might be a bug, insect, etc. But this reward system of scratching something, feeling good, it just doesn't make that much sense to my brain. This though, a lot of sense. Nice small parsley. To the side. To the groom. To the bride. May they always be satisfied. All the cutting boards, and now we're going back to this. Our sludge, slime, breadcrumb, egg, milk mixture. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? What's going on here now is we're going to add meat, of course. I'm today using ground meat, mixed ground meat, pork and beef. You can use any vegetarian alternative. You can just, yes, you can use, difficult to talk, just beef, just pork, any vegetarian alternative. There's so many out there by now. But we're going to go traditional with this. Trixie, oh my god, it's so nice to hear that somebody has this same thought process. I completely understand this. It makes me crazy. It doesn't really feel good, does it? Because the second you get the itch to go away, there's pain. I understand. Like, there is pain usually after you scratch too much. But the initial scratch that leads to the pain is what feels good, doesn't it, Wolfman? Maybe Trixie and I are just weird? I don't know. Crazy Gamer Popcorn, hello! Long time no seen, how are you? So, this stuff, this mixture of of breadcrumbs, egg, and some milk, aka some cream with water today. It's now at a consistency where I do this, you actually see the bottom. So this is what you want, roughly. And now the meat goes in. And now the fun times begin. Because I like to... I guess you're going to have some ASMR now. But first, rings, take them off before you do something like this. Trust me, it's never worth it. How was the honeymoon with someone who hated to swim in the water in the sea? You wouldn't believe it, Mate, how much time my dearest husband actually spent in the water. I don't know if we have any proof, if he has any proof on his Instagram or something, but he did actually spend a ton of time in the water. Shocking, I know. Glad to hear you're doing good, Crazy Gamer Popcorn. And now we're decorating this with some greenery. No, obviously not. We're spicing this. Hello, Dogo. No, you're not getting any of this. Oh. Who heard that? Parsley has a very umami, meaty smell, flavor to it, so that's always good, even if you're using the vegetarian version. And if you don't scratch yourself, it's really uncomfortable. True, Trixie. Very, very, very true. I see we're on the same wavelength. Going to quickly wash my hands before they get very, very dirty. And we're going to have some fun. Mr. Mattes, hello! And Mate, yes, way, crazy, I know. I don't know if there's any proof though. I might have to look. Ah! I love this so much. I mean, in the moment it does, but that could just be the relief of the scratching being relieved before the pain sets in. I don't know, Wolfman. If there's any scientists here that has any idea about this whole concept, please enlighten us. We are lost. So, I might just add a bit more breadcrumbs because it's a bit too soft. But that's the beauty. If you're going this way, you can adjust it nicely. You came to learn because you need to start reminding yourself how to cook for school. Well, then you're correct here. And if you want to have some more recipes, on our Discord there is a stream recipe archive with all the things we've done in the past weeks. And obviously my YouTube channel with a ton of recipes. And for all of you that are new here, we are making cooking, or I'm having cooking streams 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting at 11. And one gaming stream, a long one, on Saturday starting at 11. So the more the merrier. Yeah, I want a bit more breadcrumbs, I think, but we're going to add some salt and pepper. I just love having dialogues like this with people like this. I don't know, but why debate and discussion have always been fun for me. Same here, Wolfman. If you're trying to have I think the difference is if you're trying to have a discussion and it's actually about like learning something new and not trying to win a discussion. That's a big differentiation that changes how people enjoy talking to you. But yeah, this is really just something that I've been wondering about for ages, and I just haven't found a proper answer that I'm satisfied with. Like, the body reaction tells you what is good, and the immediate scratching feels good, but it leads to something bad. So, doesn't make much sense. Today you were smart, Mr. Mattison ate before the stream, so you're not hurting myself watching this. Yeah, I mean, understandable, true. I'm going to get the salt and pepper and some more breadcrumbs. Where are they? Where did I put them? It's a great thing when I'm trying to clean up and put something somewhere else. Oh, wait a moment. My salt is, I think, still in our dining room. Be back in 2 seconds. All three. Yes, all is good. Found the salt. Woohoo! So. And this marks the moment where I can finally finish this stupid pre-ground pepper and use a proper pepper mill again. Remember how we were talking about only having one hand? That was at least 15 seconds though. Is this the cat meme where the cat is like, "You were gone forever, I counted." At 11 you were summer work and now it will be school, so I don't know when to stop by. I understand. Well, at least there will be always the VODs, Crazy Gamer Popcorn. Or, as I said, Saturdays. I think, totally optional, but I like to have like a little zing, I'm going to add a couple chili flakes. Not very traditional German, let me tell you, but I don't care. They're almost as red as my face. You just remembered you're a sub and spent channel points earlier to unlock a sub. Well, we don't currently have a proper use for channel points anyway, so I don't think you lost out on that much, but that shall change soon. So, as I said, some chili flakes, some salt, some pepper. Quite simple recipe in and of itself. Exactly, Mr. Mattis, that's something you can use channel points for, to highlight your message. But I have a couple plans for the upcoming days. So Maybe don't waste them. Trixie check. Thank you so much for subbing. Thank you. Welcome to the hot pot. I hope you enjoy your time here and the emotes and everything. Thank you very much. So, this is roughly where I want it to be, so not too sticky. Maybe a bit more. But you can see the difference between like just meat and having like this egg breadcrumb mixture in there. Of course, the bread roll option is superior, but I just rarely have leftovers. That's my biggest problem, because you should use like a dried bread roll, like a stale one from yesterday or 2 days ago, and that doesn't really happen for me. So, breadcrumbs it is. Yep, happy with that. And by the way, yes, I just tasted raw ground meat. If you have quality meat, having a tiny little bit is no problem. There is actually a German dish. Can you call it dish? German specialty called Mettbrötchen, which is like usually a thick slice or a bread roll, a thick slice of bread or bread roll, topped with butter, and then with raw pork, ground pork. And I know that especially to American friends in the past, this sounded crazy or disgusting or scary, but it's actually delicious. Use grayscaled my dog emote with the channel points and made it a wolf. That is a thing? Really? That's kind of cool. QB, you're a wolf now. Good. I'm washing hands again. And... Or... It's the question. Do we wash hands first or do we make the meatballs first? All the options. I think I'll make the meatballs first, so I don't have to re-wash my hands later on. But first I'm going to try and make some space. Seriously, I need a kitchen aisle that's at least like 5 times this size. At least.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Ahoy.
You were hearable. And people are doubting the fact that you were swimming in the water on our honeymoon.
I was swimming. I was actually not only like...
You were even diving.
Swimming,
Yeah.
and I was diving.
Did you know that you can turn emotes grayscale with channel points?
Yeah. You can also make like goggles on it.
We now have a wolf.
Glasses.
QB is grey.
Oh yeah. The white wolf.
Yeah, something like it. So I'm going to make like golf ball sized meatballs, roughly. You just put sunglasses on our GG emote. I mean, why not? So roughly this size. It's like fit perfectly into the center of my hand. And I'm going to make it flat a bit. So it's not really meatballs. We're still making frikadellen, the German version. Mettbrötchen is so good. I mean, I agree, Wolfman, but not everyone does. It's a bit scary, right? If you're not used to it. Crazy Gamer Popcorn, thank you so much for stopping by and hopefully see you again soon. Hope you'll find something nice to eat. True, on most emotes the glasses don't fit, but I guess adjusting it would be too much work for the program in the back. So we're trying to make like little frikadellchen. It's kind of funny. I know meatballs are like the more traditional things, for example, in America, but there's not really a name. There's not really a name for what we have in English, at least not to my knowledge. It's like a mixture of a meatball and a burger patty. So they're not round, like completely spherical. Instead, they're usually just a bit pressed down. So like this.
So, I'm going to take the doggy sick.
You're going with the doggy sick.
I'm going to go with the doggy sick, but it's raining, so it's going to be short.
It's raining quite a bit today, and I love it personally so much. It's always nice when you have the greenery from the parsley in the frikadellchen.
Oh my god, that's really good, Adoko.
Well, you get to eat them actually.
Yo! Yo!
My live-in guinea pig. That has to try everything I'm cooking. But usually it turns out good, so it's kind of good. Game Flow, cheers to you. How are you? Don't get too wet.
Thank you!
So, actually a talent to get it halfway same size. Doesn't have to be perfectly identical. The gravy sounds so yummy. Well, that makes me happy to hear, Gameflow. Well, the gravy is coming up still. We haven't started on that yet. The gravy is okay. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what's coming next. We're going to bring the potatoes to a boil. Then we're going to get a pan. We're going to roast these little morsels of goodness. Then we're going to take them out. We're going to deglaze the pan. We're going to add onions and bacon to a pan. Let those sweat, roast for a little bit. And then we're going to add apple slices, pieces to it. Let those roast a bit and get all the flavors that are already in the pan. And then we add cream, spice it, let it cook for a moment, and done. At least that aspect of it. The combination of apple and savory stuff is actually quite traditionally German, to be honest. There is, for example, in Cologne, where the Gamescom was happening just recently, there is a traditional dish called Himmel und Erd, so heaven and earth. And it is blood sausage with apple. Which is also one of those things of don't knock it before you try it. Chunky pieces of apple or fine sliced. Well, that is usually up to the person that makes it. You can make just wedges of apple. I like to use finer sliced pieces because this way, when you take one spoon, one fork, you still have a little bit of everything. Are there some Munich specialties? I mean, pretzels are about as Bavarian as Munich as you can get. But they also have, oh god, how to translate that? They have like Oberster, which is a type of spiced cheese? No, not sure. And usually, like there's a lot of names that I'm not sure I can translate. I imagine you're from the far north. Gameflow, you mean in Germany or in general in the world? I'm actually from the very south of Germany. I'm from Baden-Württemberg. So more or less the land of Spätzle. But that's not what we're making today. Smertik, you like meatballs? Well, then you're correct here today. Ah, world, yeah. Then I'm more from the north corner, Gameflow. That's true. Not quite far north, but northish. More northern than a lot of other places. At least northern hemisphere. Does this count? Do you hear the rolling? The rolling? Rolling. This is very enjoyable to me. Heard they passed some crazy laws these days in Germany. Maybe? Which ones are you referring to? There is always crazy stuff going on, sadly. Pretty much all over the world, and I sometimes try to take breaks from those things. Can't be that insane if I don't have them on my main conscious. They see me rolling, they hating. True. Although, could you really hate, like, good food. And they can harass unvaccinated people. I'm vaccinated. I have no idea. There's currently a lot of like debate going on how to handle COVID and the rules for autumn, now that a lot of stuff will take place inside again, but I haven't heard any definitive stuff yet. Usually we are a country of very slow laws, so it's always taking forever till something takes effect. Now I have to ruin this nice looking stuff and make more space. Eek. Well, at its core, that's your choice, GameFlow, but I must admit that I don't agree with that. At least, I mean, if you're living your life all alone, that's one thing, but if it affects other people, then it's always a bit complicated, more complicated. Thankfully, food is very easy. I mean, okay, let's take a step back. It's not that easy. There is a lot of complications if you think about it in terms of vegetarian, vegan, or stuff you can't eat, stuff you don't want to eat, etc. Random Pog, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. Dum dum. In a lot of ways, I'm of the persuasion that I think live and let live. There's always just a point where it might affect other people, and then it gets a bit more complex. Do. I mean, everything kind of affects everything. With like the corona war, prices go up in every department of the world. I mean, even freaking like, I was really surprised when I heard the price hike for PS5, though, I must admit. I really do. I didn't expect that. Part of me understands it, because obviously prices for everything went up. Chip shortage was not fun for a long time. And I think we'll feel the repercussions of this topic for a long time. But it's still interesting to have a console that is like, that's been priced a certain way, nothing changed, and they're now going to increase the price, while their competitors, like both Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X, none of them are going to get more expensive. So this is going to wait for the doggo, and I think it's going to make him very happy. Happy. And I have my little meat. It's not really balls anymore, it's more frikadellchen. So balls pressed down flat. I like them. They look pretty. And this is going to get aside washing hands, and then we're going to start actual cooking. So far we've been doing almost only preparation. Crazy, right? So, dog gets to lick some meat. I think I hear him on the staircase. Happiness. And the door has opened, and the dog has found the bowl.
What a weather.
Is the weather as nice as it looks through the window?
It's nice if you're inside.
True. I mean, cold autumny weather is usually... Try to take off a harness from a dog that is stuck with his head in a bowl. Can look quite fun.
Okay.
Happy doggo? Happy doggo. And the best thing I had in Munich when I went was Schweinshaxe with Kartoffelsalat and sauerkraut. True! I mean, you just mentioned probably one of the most traditional Bavarian foods is beer. if you count that as beer. And Haxen, yeah, like they are known for, true, that is probably also a very, very classic Bavarian dish. Sometimes when you're getting asked, so what is a classic Bavarian dish? Or what is a classic dish? Or what is this, that? Brain is just empty. It's a piece of, you either use the part of the leg from a pig, or there's sometimes even pork shoulder, and it's getting scored, the top part, and then it's getting roasted, and the top part gets crunchy beyond imagination, and the bottom part is juicy and delicious. And that's something you, for example, find a lot on... There's too much stuff lying around. On places like Oktoberfest. Although there, it is insanely expensive, and I wouldn't recommend it. There's better things to spend your money on. Ring can get back on, because I don't have to much around... How do you call that? Like... to play around with meat anymore, or with funny stuff. Putting these aside, probably into the fridge while I'm working, just to be sure. And we're going to start on mashed potatoes and actual gravy / meat. On the actual cooking. Seriously, sometimes this takes forever to go from, okay, we're preparing, still preparing, and now we can finally cook. Going to make some more space in my fridge and take out bacon and butter for later. And the little machine. My stove has seen a lot of work recently. It's been worth it. I mean, true, Wolfman, due to the scored crunchy bits on top, it is a very, very good looking food. So let's see if today we're going to manage to not make you people hear the annoying beeping. Fingers crossed. Nobody heard a beep. Success! Huge success, I call that. So, where is my salt again? There it is. Going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to add salt to it. A lot of voice effects today again. You're going to go broke in those 3 days, but it is what it is. I mean, admittedly, you probably picked one of the most expensive places in Germany to go to. So, there might be some truth to what you just said. But I hope you'll be able to find some normally priced stuff as well. It is possible. Honestly, one of the most delicious, or one of the most classic Munich / Bavaria things is pretzel, beer, and, oh god, Weißwurst, white sausage, and sweet mustard with it. That's one of the most traditional dishes that is oftentimes eaten for breakfast, which I know a lot of people find quite weird, but it's definitely worth it. Crunchy, fresh, baked pretzel, sweet mustard in combination with the white sausages, freshly cooked as well, and oftentimes served with some beer. It's called Weißwurstfrühstück. Yeah, this is going to start bubbling. And the camera is going to get a nice steam facial. You're going from 11th to 13th of September. Well, it's still a couple days. Is it... Wait, that is... Is it Sunday till Tuesday, right? I mean, during the week you should have time to explore and find nice things. On the weekends there are sometimes a lot of tourists. Oh, so you could have gone to Vienna instead of Munich. Yeah, that's sometimes great, right? If you make plans and then it turns out that if you wouldn't have made those plans, you might have had a better option. Enjoy your time in Munich. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. I mean, Vienna is as well. But Munich is really cool. There are some really nice markets there. Good food, obviously. It's very focused on the front, the bubbling. I'm going to switch it up. Try to see it positively, Mr. Mattes. That's always, like, if you can't change it anyway, then try to make the best of it. It's easier said than done, I know, but still what I'm trying to live by. It's the Bob Ross concept of happy little accidents. Maybe you'll find something amazing in Munich that you would have never seen in Vienna. This looks kind of funny. Good. It's boiling. Lid on top. Ah, I made you hear the beep. But only one beep. Carnival with your grandma. That's cool. I mean, carnival or like Fasching in general is huge in my region of Germany. Baden-Württemberg has a lot of stuff going on in this regard. And obviously if you go north, Cologne has some as well. Only little bits. But they're very different depending, like those celebrations are very different depending on where in Germany you look. It's kind of fun. Meatballs, and we're going to start with them, right? Looking at my notes, cheat sheets. Yeah, so I need a bit of oil and my meatballs can come back out of the fridge actually. I think I'll make them in two tours. There's various names for the holiday actually in Germany. It's kind of funny. Again, differs where you look, where you ask. It's also when you are at Fasching, there's people riding on those big floats, on those big trailers, wagons, whatever you want to call it, and they throw candy down to people. And to get the candy, you usually have to like yell back. In some corners of Germany, it's hello. Sometimes use alaf, Kölle alaf, for example. Very, very different ones. Various different ones. And for all of my Czech friends in a town where part of my family lives, where we usually go to for this celebration, they scream ahoy! Which for all of those here that are not from Czechia is Czech for hello. Kind of amusing to me after I've learned it. So normally I would say don't overcrowd the pan. However, we're going with pretty high heat, so we can do it. Ferrari man, welcome back. But if you move around meat a lot in your pan, Don't overcrowd it. So, little ones. I think I'm going to make some in the middle as well. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Frick, I have one too much. Let's put that in the middle. Now you have a nice little circle. Can you hear the sizzle? It's a beautiful sound effect, isn't it? Oh, I'm looking forward to this food. There's just days where you don't need all these fancy modern things, but really just going back to the basics and having like good, simple, hearty food. Yum. There's a little piece of parsley sticking out. So I'm going to go with probably around 3 minutes from each side. I'm going to check though in a second. This one will need more. This one will need less, not more. Opposite problem. Meatball ASMR. True, something like that. Indeed. And this one in the middle, this one will get eaten. And it makes me happy to say that. So, meatballs are cooking. Potatoes are cooking over there. That's always a good thing if I have one stove top here and then I have one stove top over there. So I can do multiple things at the same time, which is very good. Because otherwise this whole process would take for freaking ever, which is not recommendable. Going to slowly take a look. Ah, beautiful. Do you see this? The crunchiness? Yum. Let's check the other ones. I think they can also be flipped. Yep. Pressing them down a little bit. You would think that maybe that gets rid of the juiciness. However, we are using the whole stuff left in the pan later. So it's not so bad. I'm going to later on put all the bacon and onions in here to make the gravy. So win-win. And see how crunchy they get, the top part? Yum. I want all of them. I'm going to eat all of them. The other person in this household is not getting any. I hope you didn't hear that. So usually you're able to see if these are done, if you, from the side, see no pink anymore. But if you want to make 100% sure, you can leave them in a bit longer, or this is going to be very, very, very controversial. You can also pop them in the microwave for a couple moments, just to make sure they're cooked through, if that's something you're sensitive about or just want to make sure about. Derek is not on the viewer list. Well, good for me. Salichko, welcome back. How are you? Hope you had a nice break. So this one, I think maybe I'll reduce the temperature though. Or maybe not, because the outside ones can cook a bit longer than the inside ones. Yum. Yum yum. I just don't want to burn any of them. You went to see your doctor. Well, that was probably not that nice of a break. I thought maybe you had gotten food for yourself or something like it. But it seems like not. Is everything okay if you've been at the doctor? And this is, by the way, also kind of proof that you don't necessarily need to use extra oil when making anything with ground meat. Did you hear that I say you will not get any? Shall we share one?
Yeah.
To try?
Yeah.
Good, let's
There
do
is a
that.
story called Platteblauster in Czech, and it's about cook that doesn't taste his stuff and then he dies.
What?
It's a bit more complicated story, but it's...
Okay, I hope so. This sounds interesting though.
He actually starts tasting his own stuff.
Perfect. Yum. Careful pot. Seems like there is good.
No.
Yum. Delicious! Oh, delicious. Andrew, Rebel! Yes, everything is going great. My little frikadeiken are perfect. They're now leaving the pan, so the second round of frikadeiken can go in. And they taste freaking delicious. Also, by the way, this is a kitchen wisdom, I guess. If something is cooked in the pan, it will be overcooked when you take it out. So even if you might think, oh, maybe you could use another minute, take one out and let it sit for a moment and try. You might get perfection this way, and otherwise it would be overcooked. I think I'm going to reduce the heat a bit. So. See, perfect. Almost like I measured it. I didn't. So. And I get to bite into my very juicy last bit. You just needed some information about your health stay to New York. Interesting. Remember Fortuna, hello! It is delicious. Very much so. Little Fleischpflanze. Yum. Are you going to New York, Solichko? That sounds cool. Very, very much so. These look good. I was a bit scared because of the sheer amount of breadcrumbs you put in that they turn out a bit dry, but those look delicious, so I officially stand corrected. Yep, that's the thing. Like, if you put in just breadcrumbs, that's not so fun. But if you add the egg to it and then some milk, for example, you get like the most juicy little bastards in existence. Can I tell you a secret, Yaris? It is tasty. I'm going to try to show you. It's not 100% cooperating. Do you see the juiciness? Yum yum. Yum. As I explained earlier, the breadcrumb egg situation just makes the meatballs, frikadelle, Fleischpflanze, roulette, whatever you want to call it, makes it a bit fluffier and lighter. Very much recommendable, trust me. And very juicy. So let's flip these. Whoop. What are you having for lunch today, Bimbo Fortuna? Fish again? So, whoop. Touch the camera. So. How are the potatoes doing? Beautiful. I'm actually considering with all the stuff in here, if I might take some of it out and add to the mashed potatoes later. Maybe even instead of the butter. Maybe not the worst idea. You had spaghetti puttanesca. Also very recommendable. Exactly, nice and bouncy like meatballs should be. And this is very tempting for me because they are standing right next to me and I would like to eat all of them. Horrible! We're going to a restaurant soon that makes spaghetti out of potato. And they're so good. And I'm always tempted to ask them for their recipe, but I'm not sure if they would give it to me. Not sure about that. I think I might actually use these juices for later. Screw the butter. How does it look? I think they're pretty much done. So let's take these out. Not burning my fingerkin. Ah! The good thing is, if you make frikadellen rather than meatballs, so more like, I guess, UFOs in shape, you have more surface area to get crunchy. It's a win-win. And I'm going to now get some of the oil out of this, because this is a lot, and I'll use that later. Ah, it beeped! I'm sorry! It beeped twice! And what we're going to do now, here, all these lovely liquids, bacon strips. More nice sound. And I'm adding bacon and onion, which makes a lot of dishes just better. Today is all about that sizzling. All about that sizzle, all about that sizzle. So. Potatoes are almost done. Welcome, thank you for the follow. Those are actually 2 words I know. 2 Czech words I know. Of course, Wolfman. We need those little flavor bits that are stuck to the pan. This is the best part of the cooking process. In general, if you don't make stuff too dark, using pan drippings, using the stuff left in pan from roasting something before is like the secret to good flavor. Pretty much, at least. So I'm currently letting this sweat a bit, so all the nice onion bits, let me show you some. These are going to get more translucent. My camera will smell like onion. And I will use the rest of the meatball drippings for my mashed potatoes later, to give them some more flavor. If you have vegetarian guests, if you're cooking for vegetarians, please don't ever do something like that. Promise. There is nothing worse than if you have some either self-imposed or medically necessary rules for your food and somebody decides to use meat drippings for your mashed potatoes and it's like the only vegetarian thing on the menu or on the table. And then later you find out that it wasn't done with butter or with cream or whatever, but with meat. That sucks. I have known a lot of people, or not a lot, so that would be too much thankfully, but I've known a couple of people that would take this almost as a like, haha, see, I did make this with meat and you didn't even realize it and you liked it, right? And that's just a dick move. So don't be a douche. Respect other people. Same goes the other way around, by the way. I'm a big proponent of, if you're cooking for somebody, tell them what you used, or ask them, so what can you eat, what can't you eat, do I need to be careful with something? And if they don't suddenly start being completely unreasonable as like, I only eat mushrooms that were picked on the first Saturday of a whatever, it's, I think, a sign of a good host, a sign of a good chef, to stick to those rules, regulations as good as possible. So the onions are getting nice and translucent. The rest is also kind of roasting, the lovely bacon bits. Isn't it beautiful? Yum. And now we're going to quickly prepare the apple. And I'm thinking if I should leave that here. I think we have enough space. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to take the microphone away so you don't have to listen to the sizzle, or only to the sizzle at least. Good. So this is happening here on the right side. There's enough space. Respect people's choices with their body. If it's not hurting anyone, it's none of your business. Preach. That's what I live by as well. Especially if it's something so not complicated. So I'm going to use my beloved little torture device. This little machine where you can put in an apple and you can spiralize it. And I'm going to do one thing, which is I'm actually going to peel it, because this is going to cook for a bit, and sometimes when you don't peel the apple, you have you have the bits of peel stuck around, and it's just not delicious. So watch. Ta-da! I love doing this so much. Perfect. Come with me, my little machine. And this is my apple spiral. This can go back into the center. Moving stuff around a lot today. Sorry. Microphone goes back to where it was. See? Now we're really crunching stuff up. This is the definition of coming into the kitchen like, this smells good.
It smells good.
Exactly, smells good.
It really does smell good. Yo.
And I'm now just going to take this apple, and due to it being spiralized, basically, I'm going to just cut it into quarters. Whoop. And whoop. So it now looks like this. And I'm going to add that. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Especially if it comes to things like what fat to use. Oils are super cheap compared to butter or animal fat. In my mind, it'd make more sense to use the cheaper option. I mean, yeah, if it works. So, apple is also going to be roasting. Trust me, this is so good. Should also maybe clean the camera a bit. There's also, for example, this thing that I had to learn. My sister is vegetarian, and when I make... Okay, that made it worse. And when I make pie, I would use lard for the pie crust. Because yes, it results in a better result. However, lard is not vegetarian, let alone vegan. So let's add the rest. Ha ha ha. I was looking for my spoon just now, by the way, in case you were wondering. So the apple is, I'm going to try to caramelize the individual slices. So there is the sweetness coming even more to the forefront. Yum. This looks so good. And this smells so good. Ah. Well, thankfully for Iron, there's always things you can eat, even if you're toothless. Otherwise the world would be very sad for some people. God damn it, I'm getting redder in this picture. I'm really not. Look, this is skin color. This is not my skin color. Weird. So, we're slowly nearing the point of enough roasting. Everything is nicely golden brown. And it smells so good, like the juicy apple sour sweetness. And now, for the final trick, some cream. Here, roast. And water. I always use lard for pie crust, but I don't really know that many vegans, vegetarians. But if I do, I'd be sure to find an alternative that makes a decent pie crust. Yeah, vegetable shortening works, or you can just use, I mean, you can just use the normal, like butter, for vegetarians at least. So, everything is nice and mixed together in here. And I'm now going to add some broth powder, powdered broth, whatever you want to call it, if it comes out. You can also, instead of using this, you can use, instead of using this and water, you can use stock to begin with. Same but different. Juice diet. No, there's more you can eat. That's not all of it. And now I'm going to check. There is so much bacon in there, so I think very little salt needed. Yum. Yep, this is going the right direction. Obviously, it's more enjoyable if you have something to bite into. Very much agree with that, Ferrari. I'm a big sucker for texture. Cream and gravy, not something I've heard of before, but I'm only not against it. I mean, in Germany, you have a lot of, I mean, gravy I would translate with Bratensoße, which is like a roast sauce. So the sauce you make out of pan drippings. And there's a whole different category of like this kind of sauce made with cream. And it just adds like a softness. Obviously, you can also go the route and just make a brown sauce. But it's good. No, it's not powdered roux. It's like I would not use that. It's a powder for chicken soup, or in this case, vegetable soup. As I said, if you have homemade, fresh version at home, feel free to use that. But I was always just trying to keep my recipes easily accessible for everyone. The sweetness and sourness from the apple is just, it's so good. And I can finally go back to my normal pepper mill. always, in my opinion, the thing that you can adjust the recipes to what you have at home, to your liking, to make it as complex or as easy as possible, or as complicated as possible, as homemade. My goal is always, so everyone can try it at home if they want to, that it tastes delicious, and that it's good. Powdered roux hurts your Cajun soul. I understand that. Yum. Yep, this is pretty damn good. Oh my god. So this goes now off the stove, and I'll just let it simmer for a bit while I make the mashed potatoes. Ah, one beep. God damn it. I couldn't protect you from all of them. Like a UFO sound effect. No more cooking, hallelujah. No more cooking. Yeah, it's a powdered broth, so it's basically like vegetable extracts, different ones, and herbs and salt and pepper, sometimes like all just already mixed together. And it just adds more depth of flavor to the sauce. Not necessary. As I said, you could just leave it out and just work with the flavorings that you already have in the pan. You can add freshly made stock, you can buy freshly made, like, liquid broth. All works. So many variations, so many versions. Whatever works for you. So, potatoes. Ta-da! More steam. It's not like I'm already pretty warm. Not at all. And I'm not going to drain the water. Imagine if you could cook potatoes like rice, so there's no water left. That would be cool. This is also something, by the way, you can use for sauces. The starchy water from potato or from pasta is amazing as a sauce base. Warm. Hi. Good thing it's so cold outside today. So these are nice and soft, all of them. I'm going to steal one because I like these. Why are potatoes so good? So as I said, screw the butter. I'm instead going to use some of the pan drippings from earlier. Let that melt in. Where's my spoon again? God damn it. So if you've been around since the beginning of today, you should know now that this is not exactly like a health food. Not really. Where is my potato masher? There. Oh god. You could use a fork. You could use probably a big spoon, whatever. There's so many options. I just like this one. Easy to clean. Easy to use. Pepper. Warm. Where is my salt? There is the salt. Where did I put my nutmeg? I'm a bit chaotic today. Slightly. Some more salt. Not too much. We can always add more, but we can't take any out. So that is always something to think about. And my favorite spice of them all, nutmeg. Doop, 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 doop. Whew. So Wolfman, Cajun. What is like the peak Cajun dish, you would say? I know I've seen Cajun fries and like Cajun blackened fish and chicken. Whoop! The camera is too close currently, I think, for my cooking. Poor thing. Ooh. A bit better. I always love to ask people from other regions of the world, what is the peak experience if somebody would want to try something from your region? Today's dish is actually, I think, coming pretty close to what I would say egg in terms of Germany. True, catfish also. Gumbo, okay. I must admit, some of the gumbo things I've seen in the past were a bit scary to me. Just a bit. So. So what does go into your gumbo? I've seen some scary stuff. But true, I mean, catfish also belongs in that area of the world of America. Oh my, this is a workout! Probably too seafoody for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm always up to trying more things, Bimbo Fortuna. Always. I'm never sticking to my preferred flavor profiles. Always trying something new. So you could make this softer. You could make this more of a like a again with that word like a sludge, like more stuck together. I like it when it's a bit like this, when it's like chunky slightly, especially when you have such a hearty sauce and hearty dish like today, because to make it more cohesive I would have to add milk or butter or cream, and we have a lot of that already. Eel restaurant. A restaurant that is only serving eel? That exists? Oh my god. I would love to love fish. I need to. I'm always challenging my taste buds. I want to learn to love fish, or in general everything from the sea. It's something that I'm having troubles with. Not even from an allergy standpoint or something like that. But I think it's something psychological. Limburg Qatari. That's a fun name. Limburg, I'm thinking of cheese. I'm making some frikadellchen, some meatballs. They are over there. I can show them. Ta-da. Little meatballs with bacon and apple gravy. And mashed potatoes, which we're currently working our way through. And it's so good. It's one of those perfect autumn-winter dishes, in case you need any inspiration. I hope you have the same weather as I do at the moment. Would be kind of funny if you would have like a wonderful, sunny, midsummer time still, and I'm rambling on about winter. You're from Bolivia, cool. We've just asked about the most Cajun dish. What is the peak Bolivian food, would you say? I must admit that my South American cuisine knowledge definitely has some big holes, and I want to change that. You only had eel in Japan or sushi so far. I mean, I actually had eel, like a smoked eel, in an Italian restaurant rather recently, and that was good. I can't say that I hate fish, but sometimes I'm eating it and my brain says like, you shouldn't eat this. And it's like, okay, I shouldn't eat this, I guess. Yeah, I think we're done with this. I'm always sad about the little bits of mashed potato that are stuck in the masher. I want that. Eel is long. True. A peanut soup. Pico de la macho. A pique a la macho? Alo macho. Oh my god, I'm bad. Okay, I need to look those things up. South America is such a fascinating place for food. And I already have a couple recipes from down there that I absolutely love. But I want to learn more. So many, wow. You love trout, Mr. Mattes. I have a slight trauma when it comes to trout. My grandpa always ordered full trout, like full fish, and put it on a table. Like it was put on a plate, and it had like everything, like including the eye. And then he took the face and he made the face talk. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I think it traumatized me. Yum. Mashed potatoes are so good. In all their glory, in all versions. It's very difficult to make bad mashed potatoes, to be honest. You have very spicy food. Ooh, I mean, I love spice. I literally have chili flakes here. But that sounds dangerous, to be honest. That sounds quite dangerous. Sure, give me a recipe in Discord. I would love to take a look, Wolfman. That's what our cooking channel on our Discord is for, after all. Sounds amazing. Chicken andouille sausage. Okay, so you don't add fish to your version? I mean, we've been to Mauritius recently, and it's a combination of Indian and African cooking and culture also. And I have this thing that I love to try something from a fast food chain like McDonald's in other countries, just out of pure curiosity. And we tried a spicy, crispy chicken, and it was delicious, but freaking hell was it spicy. Whew. Why would he do that? Yeah, I don't know. I never got to ask him. I don't know if he had an answer for it. I'm going to have some of this. I could spoon this whole dish. This whole pot of mashed potatoes. I could just like... Not going to do that. Interesting, Wolfman, isn't it? Like in most gumbo recipes, I've usually seen like how are they called? The little sea spiders. Oh my god, shrimp, like something like that. One last piece of mashed potatoes. Happiness. Well, that makes me happy, Wolfman, to have shrimp and sausage separately. And now, without further ado, I think we're going to set a plate. I think we have all the fun ingredients. So let's clean up our workspace a bit. And I'm going to get a nice plate and we're going to make something. Let's see how pretty we can make this hearty dish. Plate. How spicy is spicy, Limber Katari? It's an important question. Very, very important. How do we start? How do we start? I think we're actually going to start with the mashed potatoes. When I was in New Zealand, I had my host family's, the dad, he went crawfish diving a lot. And then he took those things. I have a thing with like people that traumatize me with seafood. He took those crawfish and put them in the fridge. So when you got up in the morning, there was sometimes like this big thing, sea spider thing, waiting in the fridge when you just wanted a bit of milk for your freaking cereals.
So he put food in the fridge? How dare he?
It was not food. It was evil. It was very evil. I was not happy with that. So, mashed potatoes. Yum. Now the sauce. You see those little apple pieces and the little bacon pieces. This camera is again acting up. I mean, it is very same in color, but not that bad. I'm going to separate that out a bit. Yum, 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 yum. And now we're going to add our little meatballs. I think that's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to add some more sauce though. Doesn't look that nice on this camera. I'm going to show you in the actual camera for a second, and I'm going to post a nice picture later on on Instagram and on Discord. So this looks not as enticing as it does in real life, but I'm going to change that. So we're going to add a bit of greenery here. And we're going to add a bit of greenery here. I don't like non-edible decoration, but parsley on top of stuff is just making everything better. Yum. Still doesn't look that nice, but it looks nice in real life. Just a bit samey in color. Wait, I can try to show you here. This looks much better, doesn't it? Ta-da! Mashed potatoes, apple bacon gravy, lovely sauce, and some meatballs. And these colors are not accurate. Wait, maybe I can change the saturation a bit. Let's check that. Configure video. Higher saturation. Let's see if that changes something. It's a bit better. Now it's a bit orange, but it's a bit better.